Hello and welcome. In this tutorial, we'll dive deep into how to use the crafting system plugin for RPG Bakin. The tutorial is divided into clear sections so you can easily follow along. Let's get started. Installation. To install the plugin, first download and extract the file named craftingsystem.zip. Do not use the default Windows unzip tool as it may break the file structure. Instead, use a proper extraction program like WinRAR, 7-zip, or any similar tool. Once extracted, you'll find a folder named Crafting System. Copy the folder and paste it into this directory. Next, open RPG Bakin. By default, the plugin will load the 1080p layout, so I recommend switching your project resolution from 720p to 1080p if you haven't done that yet. Go to Functions, Expanded Features, and open the Crafting System GUI. When you open the plugin for the first time, you'll see a few initialization messages. The core script will be installed into your project, along with a common event that contains the logic necessary to run the crafting system, the default layouts, and it will also generate the item IDs. Save your project, and that's it for the installation process. Now let's see how to set up and use the plugin quickly. Inside the GUI, click the Create Vars button. This will automatically generate all the variables needed by the crafting system. All these variable names can be changed, but keep in mind, this is considered an advanced feature, and in most cases, it's not necessary to modify them. Now, in the interface, go to the Craftable Items section. This is where you can create and manage items the player will be able to craft. At the bottom of the left panel, you'll find buttons to add or remove craftable items from the list. Let's see how it works. Once we add an item, we can configure several parameters, like its price, category, and more. We'll go over these options in more detail later. Next, we'll add the materials required to craft the item and set the quantity needed for each one. Now that everything's set up, how do we let the player learn specific crafting recipes? To do that, we create an event, and in the Items to Learn string, we enter the IDs of the items to learn, separated by commas. In this example, we'll use 3 and 5. Once that's done, turn on the switch called Execute Learn. This tells the system to read the Items to Learn variable and register those items as known recipes for the player. Now, either in the same event or in a different one, turn on the Open Crafting switch. This will open the crafting interface, showing all the recipes the player has learned and can now craft. And that's it for the basic usage of the plugin. The plugin's main functions are especially useful when customizing your crafting system. Let's go over some of the most important features. Direct crafting allows players to craft items instantly with a single action, skipping both confirmation and quantity selection. Disable default categories. Hides the system's default categories, like weapons and armor, from the crafting interface. This only applies if you're using the default categories. Hide unknown items. Instead of showing unknown items as black icons with question marks, this hides them entirely until the player learns them. Hide normal stats. Prevent standard item stats, such as HP recovery or attack bonuses, from appearing in the UI. Hide dynamic stats. Hides the dynamic equipment stats section when viewing weapons or armor. Hide resistances removes element and status resistance values from the item preview panel. It's important to note, all of these UI panels can also be hidden or removed manually by editing the layout itself. Disable toast messages. Disables the pop-up messages that appear on screen after crafting an item. In the visual settings section, we have Icon Size adjusts the size of item icons inside the item selection grid. Icon X and Y offset lets you shift the icon position to better align with other UI elements. In this small but important section, we have Overwrite Current IDs. If enabled, regenerating IDs will replace all existing ones based on their creation order in the database. Use this carefully. It's only recommended when resetting all crafting item IDs from scratch. Generate IDs button creates or updates internal IDs for all craftable items. This will not overwrite existing IDs. It only fills in missing ones. Very useful when you've added new items to the database and want them to work with the plugin. Layout and installs, or updates the default layouts for the crafting interface. Use this only if you need to restore them or if a plugin update adds new layouts. Script button installs, or updates the core plugin script. The system will automatically check for script updates when opening the crafting UI and notify you if an update is needed. The new interface also introduces several useful debug features. Let's take a look. Learn All Items unlocks all craftable items for the player at the start of the game. Great for testing. Show Item IDs displays each item's internal ID directly in the crafting interface during gameplay. Free Items removes material requirements, allowing you to craft items without consuming ingredients. Advanced Logs enables detailed logs for debugging and system analysis, visible in the Bakin console. Disables layout animations, useful for static UI testing or improving performance. Disable sound turns off all sound effects used by the crafting system. Don't forget, always click Save after changing any settings to make sure your configuration is applied. Glossary section. This section allows you to customize the text displayed in the crafting interface. It's useful for translating the system, adapting terms to fit your game's theme, or just renaming labels for clarity. Bakin variables section. This lets you customize the internal switches and strings used by the system. Each one includes a label describing its function. Warning: do not change anything here unless you fully understand what you're doing. Incorrect edits may break the crafting system. If you're unsure what a variable does, hover over it to see a tooltip, or refer to the manual, or pause this video and read the list on screen. Using a different layout. You can set a custom layout before opening the crafting panel. Assign the layout name to the string variable layout to use. Make sure the name matches exactly. It's case sensitive. Then, use the Open Crafting switch to open the interface. The layout string will reset to an empty value when the crafting panel is closed. Custom sounds. You can assign custom sounds by setting string variables with the exact sound file name. Make sure you do this before opening the crafting panel. Using custom categories, assign one or more category names, separated by commas, to the variable custom category. Only items with those categories will be shown. If you use multiple categories, use the dash button to switch between them. Layout-specific stack and message panels. When using a custom layout, you can also define custom versions of the stack panel, used to select quantity, and the toast message, shown after crafting. To do this, follow a simple naming convention for your layout files. Stack panel format. If your main layout is called Alchemy UI, your stack layout must be named Alchemy UI Stacked Message Panel Format. For the same layout, the toast panel should be named Alchemy UI IMSG. If these matching layouts exist, the plugin will automatically use them instead of the default versions. using C# calls. Instead of relying on switches and strings, you can use direct C# calls to control the plugin. Attach the crafting-system.cs script to any event on your map. Important: do not attach the script to multiple common events. Only one common event should include the script. Otherwise, the system may break. Each function in the script includes an explanation in English and Japanese. Let's look at an example. Craftable items interface breakdown. Starting from version 2.00, the plugin includes a dedicated section for managing craftable item settings. This simplifies the workflow, and more parameters will be added in future updates. Let's go through the main fields. ID generated automatically. It's best not to change it unless you know what you're doing. Price sets the crafting cost. Optional. Category used to group items. For example, set kitchen here and assign kitchen to the custom category variable to show only those items. Event assigns, a common event that runs when the item is crafted, useful for adding effects, rewards, or messages. Level sets, a required player level to craft the item. Color set, a hex color code to customize the item name's color in the UI. Materials section found on the right side of the interface. This defines the items and quantities needed to craft the selected item. You can also use advanced parameters. Is variable. Instead of checking the item count, the system checks a variable's value, useful for things like reputation points or energy. Is cast checks for a specific party member. If found, that character is removed after crafting. Perfect for summon or transformation mechanics. Using these options makes the item behave like a data container. The actual requirement is redirected. Reward list. Like materials, you can add rewards the player receives after crafting. Currently, only items are supported. This is great for quest systems. You can require specific items and then give rewards when crafting is completed. There's no field for money rewards yet, but you can use the tag to give 100 currency after crafting. That's it. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can check the manual for more information about this plugin. See you next time.